line of company.
Tonight on CTV3 News, a proposal to extend the current commercial agreement for 4 years under the same terms and conditions is presented to the BSCFA by BSI-ASR. Will the largest association accept the deal? March for Peace in Palestine takes place in the old capital, but what impact will it have on Israel? And the foster parents of 4-year-old Ayana Bennett are jointly charged for the crime of manslaughter. There is a call, however, for a murder charge. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Wednesday, November 22nd, 2023.
With Express Plus, you can stream on the go or stream at home. Stream the latest movies, telenovelas, series, anime, or music videos from your favorite local artists. Sign up now with Centaur's Express Plus.
Good evening with your news, also simulcast on Face FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. The current impasse between the BSCFA and the BSI-ASR over the signing of a new long-term commercial agreement has been ongoing since 2021. In that time, both parties have failed to cement an agreement despite the intervention of government, a ministerial subcommittee, and even a mediator. Now, as the 2023-2024 sugarcane crop season is looking to kickstart in less than a month, BSI-ASR has made a move and has reached out directly to the leadership of the BSCFA with a proposal to extend the current agreement for a period of 4 years under the same terms and conditions. This strategy, according to the company's finance director, Sean Chavarria, comes as the industry looks towards the future with more investment and collaboration.
Last week, we wrote the BSCFA to propose an extension of 4 years to our commercial agreement. This would be under the same terms and conditions that we have with the other 3 associations that we have long-term agreements with, and so it would be the same agreement. Following significant investment that we've made at the factory in terms of increasing value-added production, modernizing our logistics, improving our environmental compliance, we believe we have the foundations here to continue to grow and improve in this industry. I think what currently is lacking because of the fact that we don't have an agreement with the BSCFA is that certainty within the sugar industry, particularly here in the North, for all stakeholders to invest with confidence. So we believe that the time is right for us to lock in a long-term agreement so that parties are able to invest and grow the business, to reduce costs, to become more efficient. As I highlighted earlier, the drop in cane supply is a concern of stakeholders. From our end, the mill is being underutilized. And from the farmer end, if their production and yields are coming down, it would mean that their cost of production is going up. And so to ensure that we can have the mill at full capacity and then farmers operating at a lower cost and higher efficiency, we do need to address the matter of cane supply. But the environment to do that can only be one where there is certainty, there is that encouragement to invest, and for that to happen, really you need long-term agreements with all stakeholders, with all associations. And so we feel that the time is right for us to do that. And we're coming off a year where we had a record cane price, and the indications are that sugar prices will remain positive in the upcoming year. And so it's really an opportunity for the industry to come together, collaborate more, help to drive and improve efficiency so that we can build a better future.
While the BSAFA is yet to make an official response to BSI's proposal, the hope, according to Chavarria, however, is that the association will see the benefits of a long-term agreement for the industry on a whole.
We haven't received a response as yet from the BSAFA. We do intend to reach out. We know that during this month, the BSAFA typically has their general meetings with their members. There's also a change in the chairman, whoever takes over that position. So we're allowing some time for that to take place. Government has been in communication with both stakeholders as well to try to broker an agreement. So there has been communication happening, but for sure, given we want to start the crop in less than a month, it's important that we try to accelerate that process as much as we can. And so with that in mind, we have reached out directly to the BSCFA to propose this 4-year extension, and hopefully we can receive a favorable response.
Similarly to the position of millers, Chavarria says the government has also expressed its support for a long-term agreement to be signed.
The signal that we're getting is that, yes, the government wants there to be a long-term agreement for the same reasons that we would want one, which is to bring greater certainty in the industry. I think for the past 2 years, everybody has observed that lack of certainty has been causing us some issues. And part of that, we believe, is contributing to the drop in cane supply, where farmers are maybe reluctant to invest because they're uncertain if we will start on time or if there will be disruption. And so it's not a healthy environment. But if you have a long-term agreement, then stakeholders can plan with more confidence, with more certainty, and that gives the encouragement for investment. So yes, we do think that government similarly has a sentiment that we need to reach an agreement that is greater than just 1 year.
Even with an unfavorable response from the BSCFA, Chavarria says there should not be any delays in the start of the crop season, as has been the case for the past 2 years.
We're looking at other ways and means that we could support farmers in increasing their yields to reduce their costs. Shortly, we should be rolling out a program that BSI wishes to implement, which is offering farm services to growers. We're calling it AgroPro. It essentially providing farm services to farmers to replant their fields or to do ratoon maintenance so that their production can come up and reduce their costs. We acknowledge that there is an issue in industry with low yields. And so from our end, we have to find solutions to those problems to help farmers become more productive, more efficient, and reduce their costs so that they are much more, they have a more sustainable farming business in the future. We also know that there are programs out there that one we know that is already online, which is a World Bank fund for climate resiliency. That's something that is of interest here in the North for farmers to tap into. to again replant their fields, introduce climate resilient cane varieties. We've been doing a lot of work in that area in terms of research and last year we rolled out some varieties that have shown very good potential for drought resistance. So these are things that we need to accelerate. We've also been working with the 5Cs to tap into the Green Climate Fund to again institute some climate smart initiatives so that we can make the farm more productive, more resilient against climate change, and that will assist the farmers in terms of improving their yields, reducing their costs.
The leadership of the BSCFA met today to discuss BSI's proposal, and a response is expected to be forthcoming later this week. With BSI ASR's proposal for a 4-year extension to the current commercial agreement, the ball is now in the court of the BSCFA to make a decision on whether to accept this proposal or continue with negotiations. From previous interviews with former chairman of the Committee of Management of the BSCFA, Alfredo Ortega, the association had made it clear that they were not in a position to sign an agreement until the work of the Commission of Inquiry into the sugar industry is conducted. The BSCFA is of the opinion that the Commission will be looking at the books within the sugar industry, particularly as it relates to production cost. BSI ASR, however, believes differently. In an interview with the media today, Financial Director for BSI, Sean Chavarria, contended that the Commission is a separate matter from the signing of the commercial agreement and will focus on the modernization of the industry, which he says is much needed.
The Commission of Inquiry, from the discussions we've had with the government, is to look at modernizing and improving the sugar industry. We know that there are challenges in the industry from back in 2014 when the stakeholders had agreed to develop a strategic development plan. A number of issues and challenges had been documented. From our end, we've been doing our part in terms of expanding the mill, modernizing logistics, but there is more to be done. And from our standpoint, the Commission of Inquiry is to look at modernizing the sugar industry. In fact, that was when the government had issued a press release back in March. That was the signal, and that continues to be our expectations. So we don't see one necessarily connected to the other. They should be treated, but certainly as an industry, we do need to work at modernizing and creating a more sustainable industry.
And while government has confirmed that the formation of the commission is in its final stages with the selection of a chairperson, Chavarria says they expected to be consulted on the selection of commissioners.
When it comes to the Commission of Inquiry, are you all being consulted with the persons that will be forming the commission? Because last I understand, government was looking, or the Attorney General was trying to find an attorney to head the commission itself. But are you being consulted when it comes to the other persons that are going to be forming the commission?
The promise was that we would be consulted. We had received communication just last week on potential commissioners, and we weren't consulted on those commissioners. We provided some feedback to the AG on that. I wouldn't want to speak more because it's a matter that's still being discussed. But certainly our expectation was that whoever is appointed to this commission, and certainly in terms of the TORs of the Commission of Inquiry, that we would be consulted to ensure that it is in line with what we had discussed and agreed with government back in March.
Today, the foster parents of 4-year-old baby Ayana Bennett were charged for manslaughter in relation to her death. 43-year-old Marvin Denver Plett and 39-year-old Lena Plett, who were acting as the baby's foster parents at the time of her death, were today jointly charged for the crime of manslaughter. The couple, who are from the Mennonite community of Spanish Lookout in the Cayo district, took custody of baby Ayana in September. They told police they both beat Ayana over a 24-hour period on Thursday for difficulties she was having with spelling. The child was found unresponsive in bed on Friday morning at 3:30. Prime Minister John Briceño today spoke on this chilling case and joined Ayana's biological family in asking for the charge on the foster parents to be upgraded to murder.
My heart broke. How can a human being do something like this to a child? And I urge the DPP and the police to go to the full extent of the law to this couple. There is no reason on God's earth for you to be able to abuse a child to the point that that child dies. If it was left up to me, I believe they should be charged for murder.
Minister of Human Development Honorable Dolores Balderramos Garcia today also spoke on baby Ayana's case, adding that her ministry will leave no stone unturned to ensure that justice is served for her death.
I don't think I would be exaggerating to say that we all felt very devastated. Baby Ayana was a ward of the state. The government and the Ministry of Human Development had responsibility for her. So we feel that it was extremely tragic. I think we're all grieving as a nation, knowing that a little 4-year-old bouncing with what should have been good health has now left us, and in the care of foster family, you know. So we feel extremely devastated about it, and I want to assure the public that our ministry will leave no stone unturned in terms of the types of responses that we have to give. But I must hasten to tell you that there was no red flag or concern that we had in terms of the placement of the child. The Mennonite community have been very kind and generous in opening their homes and hearts to children who are in need of foster care, and we have worked very well with many foster parents, not just the Mennonite community, but all over the country. And so, first of all, condolences to everyone, especially the biological parents, you know. So we just feel very devastated about it, and we hope that, you know, that what needs to happen in terms of both our ministry, but, you know, the DPP's office, the court system and everything, we hope that justice can be done.
The government of Belize has joined the international community in the call for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. To prove that it is not in agreement with the actions of Israel, the government has suspended activities of its honorary consulate in Tel Aviv, withdrawn its agreement for the accreditation of Her Excellency Innet Kranzniger, Israel's ambassador designated to Belize, and suspended all activities conducted by the Israeli honorary consulate in Belize and the appointment of the honorary consul. The government has also accused Israel of consistently violating international law, international humanitarian law, and the human rights of Gazans, and with that in mind, a march for peace in Palestine took place today through the streets of the old capital. As the march left the Memorial Park and made its way to the Battlefield Park for the call to cease fire, resounded throughout the city, and it came from members of the community and the nation's leaders, including Prime Minister John Briceño. But will the peaceful march have any effect on Israel? That is what the media asked the PM.
Any positive action you can take, as small as it is, has a positive effect. And we, in our own small way, believe that we need to stand for the Palestinian people. I know there are going to be some people that are not going to be happy with the decision that we have taken, but I believe in the months to come, they will be able to reflect and to understand that we as a country, we as a people also have a right to make our own decision. That does not mean that we don't like Jews. We would like them, we support them, and they also have a right to existence. The Israeli citizens, they also have a right to have a country called Israel, and we support that 100%. But it comes down to what the Israeli government is doing, committing genocide against the Palestinian people. And I don't think that any person, or any Christian or non-Christian, any person with a conscience should be able to look at that and stand up and speak out on behalf of the Palestinian people.
The Belize government supports a two-state solution?
Of course, that we've said that from day one, the two-state solution of go back to the boundaries that were set in 1967, and that East Jerusalem should be the capital of Palestine. That has always been our position. Again, it goes to the right to self-determination. Because we fought for the right of self-determination, and because nations around the world stood up to support us, we've managed to go against a giant next door, Guatemala, to be able to get our independence with our territory intact. And so, whenever it comes to the issues of self-determination, we need to look at Taiwan. You know, one of the main reasons why we support Taiwan is because we believe that the Taiwanese people should also be given the opportunity or the right to self-determination, that they should decide they don't want to be known as Taiwan or want to be a part of China. Whatever decision they make, we support. That is the principle of the right to self-determination.
And even though the Deputy Director General for Latin America in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Israel and its former non-resident ambassador to Belize, Jonathan Peled, is against Belmopan's decision to withdraw its diplomatic ties with Israel, and talks are that among the immediate effects of Belmopan's decision is a reduction of tourism and plans for investment and businesses by Israelis. Prime Minister Briceño says the resumption of diplomatic relations with Israel will not resume until there is a ceasefire.
We want to believe that there's a ceasefire. Because it's not a permanent. It's just a temporary freezing of the diplomatic relations between both countries. But we plan in the future to be able to continue to have diplomatic relations with Israel. I think the Israelis are a good example of what hard work and determination can do to build a country. There's a lot we can learn from them. So we want to have and to continue the diplomatic relationship we have with them. But we believe that for this moment, that we should take a stop on that relationship temporarily, hoping that they would listen to more and more countries asking for a ceasefire.
For Honorable Kareem Musa, the ongoing war erupts thoughts of discomfort since his bloodline came from Palestine.
My grandfather came from Palestine when he was about 16 years old, and no doubt avoiding a serious system of apartheid that has engulfed Palestine for the last 75 years. Settler occupation, settler colonialism, to the point of controlling every single aspect of your life. He came to a free country called Belize, and that for me means a lot. But it doesn't mean I must forget where my family came from and to stand up with them for what they are going through at this time. The world is up in arms. The world is saying it is time for a ceasefire. It is time for a cease occupation, and it is time for a cease genocide, cease apartheid. There can be no peace if you do not cease Israel. And so it is important for us as Belizeans to stand here in solidarity with all those families on both sides of the divide, not just Palestinians, but Israeli lives that have been lost as well. There are no winners in this war, and so it is important that the superpowers call upon Israel and to demand that there be a ceasefire now.
I believe that there is an agreement signed by the Israeli cabinet and Hamas for a couple of days of ceasefires, I believe, for exchange of some hostages. What do you make of that news?
All I can say is that I am very encouraged by that news, but at the same time, it cannot be a temporary ceasefire. It cannot be that I will not kill you at 8 a.m. this morning, but I will decide to kill you at 8 p.m. tonight. That is a humanitarian pause. That is what they call it. And so it cannot be a temporary ceasefire. It must be a permanent ceasefire if we are to find this two-state solution.
As for Honorable Louise Zabani, Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, the march serves to remind the world that Belize wants peace in the Middle East.
I believe that this is an opportunity for us as Belizeans to come together, to be more united around issues, rather than for it to divide us maybe along religious lines. There's no need for that. So, for example, my own Christian brothers and sisters, I've heard that some statements might be made that this is a march against Israel, against the principles of the Bible and all these things. When in fact that's not the case. You have many people out here who are genuinely marching because we feel that what has occurred in Gaza is a travesty, and we want to stand together to say that we want peace in the region, right? And as Prime Minister just said, we are promoting a two-state solution. We are also saying that it is very important that it has been known that we have also condemned Hamas for what they have done. So if we want peace, we need to look at the history of what has brought us here and the fact that the response from Israel was disproportionate to what they suffered. And that is what caused us to make this decision to say, we as a friend of Israel have to send a message like you would do, what the Bible teaches us. If you see someone who is out there doing something wrong and you care for them, you love them, you want to be there to tell them you're walking away from the path of righteousness, if you wish. And that is what the message that I want to send to my Christian brothers and sisters. We're not standing here to say that we want Israel to disappear. On the contrary, as Prime Minister just said, we admire the works that Israel has done, but they have broken international law, and especially us in Belize, with our experience and our history, we need to stand up to say that these things need to stop immediately. So I'm glad that there has been some ceasefire this morning announced.
During today's peaceful march, opinions varied as it relates to the ongoing war in the Middle East, which has claimed thousands of innocent lives. For that reason, Hamad Yassan of Lebanese descent was at the march and says he could not help but come out in support of Palestine.
The war with Palestine has been going on for years, and as Lebanese, we always show support to our border country, which is Palestine. And they've been through a lot, and as much as we can show our support to them, we will. We will always stand with Palestine.
What goes through your head when you see the images of what's happening in Gaza right now?
It's very heartbreaking. It's very depressing. I feel like what they're going through, no one should go through. They're just living their lives. They're innocent people. And all the countries, we should all unite. We should all raise our voices to help these people. We can't do much. We don't have military forces. We can't do any like certain actions. But what we can do, we can raise our voices, raise awareness, let people know what's happening in Palestine, and show support in any way we can.
Are you also worried for your country? I think Israel has also bombed South Lebanon.
Yes, also there's always been conflict between both countries. We're worried for all the Middle East. This is something that could just become a bigger conflict in all the Middle East.
With the jewel joining a list of countries that have severed diplomatic ties with Israel over the war in Gaza, the National Evangelical Association of Belize, the Council of Churches, and the opposition say the government's decision is too extreme. In regard to the opposition, its leader Shine Barrow even chastised former Prime Ministers Dean Barrow and Said Musa and the former Ministers of Foreign Affairs Ambassador Assad Shoman and Godfrey Smith, who declared their unwavering support for the government of Belize's decision to suspend diplomatic ties with Israel. In the letter, Barrow outlines several international present conflicts of which the government has failed to speak out against, according to him. This includes the territorial conflict between Guyana and Venezuela. But according to PM Bresenio, as usual, Barrow is barking up the wrong tree.
We have spoken out immediately. We support Guyana. I don't know what planet this man lives. We have taken up releases. We have supported it with curriculum. President Ali and I, we have a personal relationship, and we support them 100%. That we believe that what Venezuela is doing is wrong. They are trying to take land that belongs to Guyana, and we will stand by Guyana. So I don't know what the opposition is talking about.
You believe that the possibility exists that Venezuela might annex Guyana? A part of Guyana?
I hope not. I hope not, and I don't think that the world would stand by and allow that to happen. So,
violence and dehumanization of Palestinian people.
I hope not.
A few days ago, the USA issued a travel advisory to discourage its citizens from traveling to Belize. This came right after Belize placed on ice its diplomatic ties with Israel following the mass killing of innocent children, youth, and adults in the Middle East. While the U.S. ambassador to Belize has clearly indicated the advisory has no connection whatsoever to Belize's decision, we do note that the U.S. has strong ties with Israel. So the press asked Minister of Government Kareem Musa about his opinion on whether Belize will have repercussions following the decision taken to end relations with Israel.
We have to take the official position of the United States of America at face value, Marisol. The ambassador is saying that that is an old travel advisory. I know that it appears to have been updated, but if that is what the United States is saying, that it has no connection to this, then we have to take that at face value because they are our strategic partners in many different aspects, not just in the Ministry of Home Affairs, but other areas in health and everything. So we have to accept their word for it. Of course, it does come at a very coincidental time, but I do not see how you can issue a travel advisory, a new one, if there is a new one, when crime is at its very lowest since 2007. That is over 16 years that we've not seen a crime rate this low, and so it is totally unjustified if it is a new one. But again, we have to take the ambassador's word and the Americans' word that it is not connected to this.
Was there eyebrows when you saw the release, though?
Sorry?
Did you raise eyebrows when you saw?
I did, of course. I'm sure it did for everybody.
Did the U.S. Embassy warn Belize perhaps about the position it would take? Because I'm sure they have intelligence and would have learned that this was about to happen.
That would be totally above my pay grade. They wouldn't have informed me or perhaps the Minister of Foreign Affairs. That would be an appropriate question for him. But to my knowledge, they did not warn them against this, no.
Assad Shoman, who has served as former foreign minister of Belize, says he believes the travel advisory issued on November 13, 2023 by the USA is not as a result of Belize ending relations with Israel. However, he stands firm that the USA has had a lot to do with the ongoing war between Israel and Hamas.
I do not know that that travel advisory had anything to do with government's decision to abide by the Genocide Convention and do all it could to stop that genocide. I don't know that it did. I don't even know if the date of that thing, whether it happened a day before or
it
not.
happened on the 13th, and Belize's protest note to Israel was sent on the 8th of November.
I don't know about a protest note.
There was a protest note. Minister Amon Courtney referenced it, so that travel advisory came after.
It came after the protest note, right. But I don't know, I cannot say that that was as a result of that protest note. I'm sorry, I can't say that. We don't know.
What do you believe?
I don't necessarily believe that. Okay. I am not a believer. I like to look at facts, right? And the facts that I see is that the United States is enabling the genocide. The United States is providing the cover for the genocide. It is providing the arms. It is providing the money. It is providing diplomatic cover. It is providing military presence there, in enormous military presence, to say, nobody touch Israel, let her kill as many babies as she wants. When she has had enough of killing babies, then she will decide. In the meantime, nobody mess with Israel. That is the U.S. message. But the U.S. message is even worse. Because, for example, that attack on the hospital, imagine nobody could believe that would happen. That was facilitated, that the green light was given by the United States State Department.
Israel said that Hamas was using that as a base.
They said that over and over again, but it is when the United States said, United States has independent evidence that that is true, that is when they moved in. So it's United States is responsible. Think about it. What is unfurling in Gaza right now, take a look at the bigger picture. We're all, we're horrified at the babies, and that would look beyond the babies. If this is a test for a new world order almost, if Israel can get away with it, if Israel can blatantly tell the world, laugh at the world and say, yes, they're killing babies, so what? If they can get away with it with the support of the United States, the whole international system that we have known will fall apart. And it is that system, weak as it is, that we have depended on for so long to defend us against any threats. Against the United Kingdom that wanted to give away our land, against the Guatemalan generals at the time that wanted to invade our land. So if that system falls, then we are in trouble. So it is not just Gaza, it's not just Israel and Gaza. It's a system, the test of a new system. Can a country with the support of the US get away with anything? Yes or no? If it can, we are in trouble.
Coming up next, Ministry of Health and Wellness issues mandatory recall of the allergy medication Allergo. Stay tuned.
Sign up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
Tell me something. You can go anywhere. Another timeline. Another universe. So why do you want to stay and fight to save this one?
Because this is the world where my mom lives. I'm not going to lose her again. Time has a pattern that it can't help reliving. Different people, different worlds, drawn to each other like magnets. It's my face. You stole my face.
If you were to go into the past, you have no idea what the consequences can be.
Bruce, I could fix things.
You could also destroy everything.
This can't be happening. I completely broke the universe.
Zod, we've been waiting for you.
I created a world with no metahumans. And now there's no one to defend us.
Want some help?
home. You are?
Yeah. I'm Batman.
If I can't undo what I did, if I can't get back, there might not be a future. What's the play? Batman, what do we do?
We try not to die.
It's not Clark.
My name is Kara.
I'm Barry. We're Barry.
Centaur, your kind of company.
During an interview with the media today on a proposed 4 years term commercial agreement presented to the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association, Finance Director for BSI, Sean Chavarria, also gave an update on the court proceedings surrounding the challenge filed by the company against the Belize Sugar Industry Regulations 2023 license to import-export. These regulations were announced by GOB back in May. Gazetted as Statutory Instrument 62, the regulations made provisions within the sugar industry requiring any entity wishing to export or import sugar to Belize to obtain a license from the Sugar Industry Control Board, SICB. While this matter was expected to be heard sometime this month, a change in judge has pushed the court proceedings until the new year. In the meantime, Chavarria says that the status quo remains within the industry.
In terms of the new regulation that was introduced to license the import and export of sugar, and also forcing BSI to pay the fair trade premiums, that matter is now before the court. We had filed an injunction against the new regulation. The matter was supposed to be heard this month, but it was transferred to a new judge, and so the matter will now be heard into the new year. So what has happened is that the status quo has remained until that matter is heard in the High Court.
Earlier this week, the Ministry of Health and Wellness issued an advisory informing of the mandatory recall of the allergy medication Allergo, manufactured by Pharmix Laboratories Limited. To safeguard your health, shoppers are being advised to avoid purchasing the medication. Currently, the ministry is on a mission to remove as many of the recalled medication across the country. If ingested, the medication can have some serious effects, and so Belizeans are being advised to be on the alert as more than 500 bottles of the product were imported into the country over a period of 1 year.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness advises the public of the mandatory recall of Allergo, which is cetirizine anti-allergy syrup, manufactured by Pharmix Laboratories PVT Limited. This recall follows an alert received from the World Health Organization indicating possible contamination of the product with diethylene glycol and ethylene glycol, potentially harmful contaminants. Therefore, this recall is a precautionary measure taken to safeguard public health against the potential harmful effects of these impurities. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is working to remove this product from the market. If you have this medication in your possession, the ministry strongly advises discontinuing its use and returning it to your nearest pharmacy or clinic. If you or someone you know has taken this medication and experienced any unexplained adverse effects, please contact the Drug Inspectorate Unit at the Ministry of Health and Wellness at 828-6721 or your nearest health center.
The medication made its way into the country between 2022 and May of this year.
So we identified that 2 batches of the products had entered Belize. One batch entered late 2022, and one batch entered the country in May of 2023. The first importation was 200 units, and then an importation of 300 units, so for a total of 500 bottles imported into the country. Since we started the recall process, we have been able to account for a significant quantity of that, but this is an ongoing process. So we have been working along with the different pharmacies. We have actually been reaching out to all the retail establishments that they were distributed to, informing them of it, asking them to quarantine the product and prepare it for pickup. Tomorrow, we are supposed to start to look at the figures of exactly how many bottles we have. Then we would know how many bottles have actually been sold to the consumer.
As previously mentioned, the medication has been contaminated with ethylene glycol, DEG, and ethylene glycol, EG, which are potentially harmful contaminants, which, if consumed, can cause severe symptoms, including organ damage.
With these contaminants, the effects that we would see would be, we would see it occurring in about an hour. And it may start with symptoms such as nausea, vomiting, eye movement. It would really depend on the quantity that is ingested. So it may mean that you have mild to moderate symptoms, again, which would be like headache, nausea, vomiting, but there are different phases. So you may move, for example, to neurological symptoms, and if consumed in very, very large quantities, it can result in, for example, organ damage. So for example, kidney damage, which may present as difficulty in urination. At this moment too, what we're trying to do is we're trying to gather information on whether or not anyone from our Belizean population has experienced any adverse effects or adverse events from the consumption of this medication.
If you or someone you know has taken this medication and experienced any unexplained adverse effects, you are asked to contact the Drug Inspectorate Unit at the Ministry of Health and Wellness at 828-6721 or your nearest health center. Back in October, the Ministry of Health and Wellness issued an advisory informing of counterfeit Tylenol being sold in various supermarkets across the country. Since then, the ministry has been on a mission to remove as many of the bogus Tylenol off supermarket shelves. Director of the Drug Inspectorate Unit, Dr. Crystal Samaj, today gave an update on those efforts, confirming that several hundred packets of the medication have been removed from stores across the country. What still remains a mystery, however, is how the fake Tylenol made it into the country.
Yes, we initiated a recall of the falsified Tylenol. And what we had to do is, like I said, we reviewed our importation database, and we found that this particular Tylenol did not come into the country with a legitimate, what we call a pharmaceutical importation permit that is usually issued by the Ministry of Health and Wellness. So it is not a product that was authorized to enter the country. We visited all districts throughout the country, and we removed the Tylenol wherever it was found. So in the Belize district, for example, we removed 1,347 little packets. In the Cayo district, we removed 521. In Orange Walk, 150. In the Stan Creek district, 205. And in Toledo, 41. As it relates to the source of the Tylenol, that is something that we have not been able to identify who brought it in and who has been distributing it to the stores.
After being on pause for over 6 months, the sale of government lottery shall resume on December 1st, 2023, with the first drawing to be held on Sunday, December 3rd, 2023 at the Downtown Plaza in Belize City. With the conclusion of the procurement process and subsequent selection of sales distributors for the government lottery, the Belize Government Lotteries Limited BGLL, the official signing of contracts was held yesterday at the George Price Center for Peace and Development in Belmopan. Contracts were signed between BGLL and Nando's Wholesale Limited and MGM Entertainment Limited. Under the Belize Government Lotteries Limited, sales distributors shall obtain the right to purchase government lottery credit from BGLL for distribution to sub-agents who will be resellers of the lottery within each distribution zone. Today, Prime Minister John Briceño spoke on some of the other structures that are in place for the sales of distributors.
Today, the actual names of the people behind the company is going to be released. There's nothing to hide. There was next to no information when it comes to the Bolido because earlier the company was reporting high payouts, so they have low profits. When they realized that the government was probably take over, then all of a sudden the payout got small and the profits got large. And so there's nothing on where we could really make a basis as to what the percentage is supposed to be between us and the sellers. Again, I repeat, we're following the same system that the telecoms have used successfully, as opposed to the government hiring 1,000 sellers. What we're doing, we're working with master agents. And now these master agents, initially we wanted to get 25%, but the numbers did not work, and finally that came forward. Everything has been vetted by the contractor general. I think they ended up with a 5% margins for themselves, and then the government then will be paying out the payments and everything. And if I remember right, they are also required to, just like with the telecoms, that they have to pay for the tickets they have to pay in advance.
Sales distributors will also guarantee the immediate payment of winnings by each sub-agent, which in turn shall be reimbursed to the sales distributor by the BGLL for further reimbursement to the sub-agents. BGLL will pay sales distributors a commission on total wagers, and from such proceeds, sales distributors shall be responsible to pay a commission to sub-agents. The manatee, locally known as the sea cow, is listed as an endangered species in Belize. Regrettably, the jaguars need protection also, even though there is a healthy population of about 580 in Belize. With these animals needing protection, today students of the Sarteneja Baptist High School received a visit from the Sarteneja Alliance for Conservation and Development. SACD was also joined by the Belize Forest Department as they engage in a manatee and a jaguar awareness day at the grounds of the high school. We spoke first to a representative of the Belize Forest Department who told us why saving the 580 jaguars in Belize is important and young people must be aware of it.
We are celebrating Jaguar Month this month. We are actually going to celebrate Jaguar Day on the 29th of November. And this is a collaboration that we're doing with several partners. Today it was with Sarteneja, with SACD. And the reason why we're doing it in SACD is because our jaguars are located throughout the country. And sadly, we've had incidents of both attacks and kills in Sarteneja. And so we want to bring this awareness about the importance of jaguars, their ecosystem, their population, with the school kids and with the general community at large. So today we actually had an info booth at the Sarteneja Baptist High School. It was attended by all from second, third, and fourth. It was a good turnout. I think the kids learned a lot. And we had our partners with us. And so this awareness that we're doing under a project called Enhancing Jaguar Corridors and Stronghold through Improved Management and Threat Reduction. And so it's a project that is ongoing, that is tailored to jaguars. And I keep mentioning to kids, we do have a healthy population of jaguars. Our population is only of 580. It is healthy, but it's not a large amount. We keep saying we have a lot of jaguars, and that's not the reality. We don't have a lot of jaguars, just that our population is healthy. And so this year we're celebrating Jaguar Month under Healthy Jaguars, Healthy Peoples, Healthy Forests. So as we all know, jaguars are indicator species. If you have jaguar present, it means that your forest is healthy, in turning that people will be healthy because also they have food that they can go and harvest within the forest. My take today was the fact that a lot of young ladies, I think basically because our booth was filled of women, a lot of the young ladies came and visited, who came after and came and asked, how is it that they can get a job to work at the forest department? What do you need? What do you need to study? And so we kind of explain to the young ladies what is needed, and we explain to them as well. Maybe I tell them I get excited when I speak about wildlife, and so they feel that excitement with me. And so I told them I speak about wildlife because I'm in charge of wildlife, but we have other units within the forest department. But if they're excited about wildlife, that is good as well. For me, it's better. The more we encourage these young people to be passionate about wildlife, then that's it means that we're doing a good job. And so for me today, that was my take, because I felt that a lot of them walked away with a lot of information. Some of them knew, but they also learned a great deal as well. Like I had a map that portrayed the attacks that happened, especially in Sarteneja, and their thing is, oh, we have attacks and we have kills of jaguars in Sarteneja. And I was like, yes, you are located right here. In several years, you've had attacks. We have jaguar attacking sheep within the village, but we also had, sadly, some killing of jaguars within the village.
Belize currently has the largest population of the Triceratops manatus, or the Antillean manatee. The herbivorous mammal, however, is endangered. Its existence is constantly threatened by boaters, polluters, as well as megatourism developments.
As November starts, we celebrate what we know as Manatee Awareness Month. So it's a whole month of raising awareness, educating people about the importance of manatees within our bay, within our country, actually. And well, what more to start right at home, right? I'm really glad with today's event. As Ms. Victoria was saying, we went to the high school here, and we were expecting people from the village, other people from the village, but actually with the amount of kids we had around our booth, I believe my colleague and I, we had our hands full today, and it's always a nice feeling to, talk to the youth about all the other target species that we protect within Curacao Bay Wildlife Sanctuary, but especially manatees, and to see them getting excited for, a new fact that they didn't know. Because since we are in our hometown, a lot of these kids, they have heard about the work we do, but still, like, every time we set up booth, there's something new that they learn, and that's just, well, that's very rewarding. These gentle giants, although we do have a healthy population in Belize, in Curacao Bay Wildlife Sanctuary, actually, we still need to keep a very close eye. And though they have no natural predators, we as humans are their main predators.
With education and dissemination of information being of utmost importance, Wildlife Manager and Forest Officer at the Belize Forest Department, Victoria Che, says more activities will take place before the month ends.
one of the things that the kids really well that made me laugh, and I told them that I learned something from them today is, for example, the school is very small. There's a very small school. I was expecting a big high school, and I met a small high school, and the kids are really eager to learn. I think most of the kids are used to speaking about fish and turtles and manatees, and today it was different. It was a different feel, and that is something that I learned, that it's a fishing community, but they're also eager to learn about the terrestrial animals that we have, and they're eager to, and they know a lot of the game species. For example, they can tell you all the game species that we have in Sardinia. They can label them because we showed them pictures from the cameras, and they were able to ID all of those species, which is something you don't really find when you visit other communities. The kids aren't really that interactive when asked about the different game species. And here I noticed that the kids do know their game species. We are still celebrating Jaguar Month. The month is still filled with activities. We're coming to Orange Walk Town. We will be there on November 29th at the Muffles High School Auditorium in partnership with the Corozal Future Sustainable Initiative. There will be a Jaguar Expo or a Jaguar Exhibition Day. And so the Forest Department, again, is in partner with them because we all work with Jaguars, will be there. So it's a fun-filled day. It's an open event. It's a public event. We welcome all the students, all the schools that can come out and visit the booths. We will have different organizations there representing and presenting their work that they do with Jaguars as well. And so Orange Walk does not need to feel left out because we will be there. Also, tonight we're continuing our event. We're having a movie night actually at 6 to 8 at the Sardinia Park as well.
And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Thursday, November 23rd here on CTV3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at CTV3 News BZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at CTV3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.